Hello everyone, it's great to walk with you again. Today, I'll summarize a masterpiece titled The Model Millionaire. This is one of the most humanitarian short stories by the king of drama, Oscar Wilde. Usually, when we think of Wilde, we think of sharp, biting social satire. But this piece is different. It carries a warm, gentle tone, yet it never loses that brilliant wit and captivating charm that makes Wilde a genius. The charming but penniless romantic. Let's start with our protagonist, Hughie Erskine. Hughie was a young man who seemingly had everything. He was wonderfully good-looking, possessed a kind soul, and was genuinely liked by everyone he met. But as we often see in stories and in life, perfection has a flaw. The only thing Hughie lacked was money. He was what we might call a delightful failure. He had tried his hand at everything from trading on the stock market to becoming a tea merchant, but nothing ever clicked. To make matters more difficult, Hughie was deeply in love with a girl named Laura Merton, the daughter of a very stern retired colonel. The colonel liked Hughie, but he was a practical man. He told Hughie bluntly, "You can only marry my daughter when you have 10,000 pounds of your own." To a man who couldn't even make a few shillings, that sum felt as distant and unreachable as the stars in the night sky. A fateful encounter at the studio. One morning, on his way to see Laura, Hughie stopped by the studio of his friend, Alan Trevor, a talented painter. When he walked in, he saw Trevor finishing a life-sized portrait of a beggar. It was a heart-wrenching sight. The old man standing on the platform was thin and bent. His face was a map of deep wrinkles and misery. He wore a tattered brown cloak that was falling apart, and his boots were patched and broken. In one trembling hand, he held a battered hat out for spare change. Looking at that pitiful figure, Hughie felt a sudden, sharp pang of sympathy. He thought about his own struggles, but realized this man had it so much worse. While the painter stepped out for a moment, Hughie searched his pockets. He found only one gold sovereign, the only money he had to last him the entire month. He hesitated for just a second, but then his compassion took over. He stepped forward and gently dropped the coin into the beggar's hand. The old man started slightly. A faint smile flickered across his lips, and his eyes sparkled with surprise as he whispered his thanks. The shocking true identity. That evening, Hughie met Alan Trevor at a club and mentioned the poor old beggar. To his absolute horror, Alan started laughing. He revealed that the beggar was not a beggar at all. He was Baron Hausberg, one of the most powerful and wealthiest billionaires in all of Europe. The Baron had been curious about what it felt like to be a beggar, so he had commissioned a portrait of himself in that disguise. Hughie felt his face turn red with embarrassment. He felt like a complete fool. Imagine trying to give charity to a man who could practically buy the entire city of London. He was certain the Baron would feel insulted by such a meager, patronizing gesture from a penniless young man. The reward for a millionaire soul. However, the universe has a funny way of rewarding a pure heart. The next morning, while Hughie was still feeling miserable about his mistake, a messenger arrived at his house with a formal sealed envelope. On the front, it was written, "A wedding present to Hughie Erskine and Laura Merton from an old beggar." Inside was a check for exactly 10,000 pounds, the precise amount the colonel demanded. The Baron hadn't been insulted at all. Instead, he had been deeply moved by Hughie's selflessness. He realized that Hughie had given away his last bit of money to help a stranger. It was a millionaire act from a man with an empty pocket. A priceless lesson. The story ends beautifully with Hughie and Laura's wedding. Even the Baron attended the breakfast, smiling at the couple he helped bring together. Oscar Wilde leaves us with a concluding thought that is both witty and deeply human. Millionaire models are rare enough, but model millionaires, those who are wealthy in both money and character, are rarer still. It reminds us that our true net worth is not what we have in the bank, but what we are willing to give from the heart. And with that, our walk ends here. I hope this story gives you something beautiful to think about as you go about your day. Thank you for walking with me to the end of this journey. I'll see you again soon in another adventure with many more amazing books and stories. Goodbye for now.